fantasy.
What kind of fantasies?
I don't want to be with a young girl.
On October 21st, 2007, 39-year-old John Elliot from Kentucky started his engine, heading out to meet the 12-year-old girl he'd been chatting with online for the past couple of weeks.
What in the world were you thinking with a 13-year-old?
The devil was smiling in ignorance, as he was about to walk straight into a trap that would change his life forever.
Hands out! Hands out!
This was the classic sting operation, a fate he never saw coming.
Tell me about the fantasy. What was it?
Just being able to have oral sex with her.
Welcome back to my channel. I don't have many followers, but your single comment is a ray of hope for me.
I got to tell you, I am nervous. I'm just nervous as heck.
Oh, why are you nervous?
I don't know. I just am. I've never done anything like this. I've never done anything like this.
Oh, you're so sweet, though. I'm just really excited that you're coming.
I have never done anything like this. I keep thinking to myself, this is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy.
Oh, you're so cute, though. Anyways, well, are you still excited?
Yes, I'm excited, but I'm scared and nervous at the same time.
When John arrived at his destination, he was quickly arrested. It was only then that he realized the 12-year-old girl, whom he'd been speaking to under the profile name Bob Beaver Hunter, was actually a decoy, and the dreaming of fairies he'd been chatting with was part of the trap that led to his downfall. Taken in for interrogation, today, we will dive into the psychological elements of his questioning.
Need anything, kid?
No, I think we're good. Thanks, Jim. Had an interesting night, haven't you?
Yeah,
To
really.
say the least. Thanks.
Elliot's nervousness is a clear sign of psychological distress. At the beginning of the interrogation, he tries to maintain a nonchalant attitude, joking about the situation as a way to deflect from the severity of his actions. This behavior is denial in action. He's attempting to convince himself and the interrogator that the situation isn't as serious as it is, likely because he's not ready to confront the consequences of his behavior.
Well, first, I'm going to read you a statement of your rights, okay? Just so that you're clear as to how this works and...
Okay, I don't understand this stuff, so you have to be kind of slow with me if that's okay.
Well, I'm going to read it to you, and then
Okay.
if you have any questions, I'll explain it to you to the best of my ability, okay?
Okay.
Is that
Alright.
fair?
Yeah.
That work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you ask any questions, you should know your rights. You may remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court or in any other proceedings.
As Reed reads him his rights, Elliot still seems unaware of the severity of his situation. His responses are scattered, attempting to downplay his actions while still acknowledging the truth. It's clear that Elliot, though understanding what's happening, is hoping for a way out, though there's no escaping the gravity of the charges against him.
Is it John?
Mm-hmm.
Elliot?
Mm-hmm.
What's your full name, John?
John Wesley.
John Wesley. Elliot. And you're 39?
39. As of this year.
And where do you live?
Benton.
Benton, Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you work?
There's no cameras or nothing on there. I'm not supposed to tell.
Well, there are cameras in here, and it's because I don't want anybody to say that I beat you up or that
Right.
something happened in here that shouldn't happen. It's for my protection as well as yours.
Early in the interrogation, Reed seeks to build rapport by showing empathy for Elliot's emotional state, acknowledging that he's at his lowest point. She uses a calm, non-judgmental tone and creates a sense of psychological safety, which encourages him to feel more comfortable. This rapport building is essential for overcoming the suspect's initial resistance. Elliot, likely feeling guilty and scared, is more likely to drop his guard and start talking when he perceives that Reed is not just a cold interrogator, but someone who understands human flaws. This makes the subsequent questioning less confrontational and more focused on eliciting a confession through psychological comfort rather than aggressive tactics.
I guess it doesn't really hurt to say it anyway because it's a false stat, just like everything else.
Yeah. Well, you got some things going on here, but it's not anything that you can't work through.
I don't know, girl. I'm at my lowest point in life right now, and
well, before we get into I want to talk to you, okay?
Reed uses language to downplay the severity of Elliot's crime. She reassures him that while he's in a tough spot, it's something he can work through. She implies that his situation is bad, but not beyond redemption. By minimizing the crime, Reed helps Elliot begin to mentally reframe his actions as a mistake rather than an unforgivable crime. This makes it easier for him to admit his guilt, as he feels less like he's destroying his self-image and more like he's simply coming clean about a bad decision.
Okay, what type of vehicle did you say?
it's a Chevrolet Cobalt.
Those nice cars?
Yeah, they're not bad. With me working in that factory, all that stuff gets on my clothes and it's got it all dusty with that stuff in it. Yeah, vinyl and stuff.
Oh, yeah. You know what year it is?
2005. So you just can't keep it clean. As soon as you clean it, it's back dusty all over again.
Yeah. What color is it?
Blue.
Help me again. I'm awful with names. John.
Yeah, John.
John. Wesley.
Mm-hmm. There'd just be W on the title.
John W.
Yeah.
Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
Reed gradually warms Elliot up by starting with small, non-confrontational questions. She asks for basic details like his name and the car he drives, before moving into more sensitive topics related to his criminal behavior. She reassures him that there are two sides to every story, subtly inviting him to share his perspective without feeling immediately attacked. By getting Elliot to comply with minor requests and share easy-to-answer information, Reed subtly lowers his psychological resistance. As the conversation progresses, he will likely feel more compelled to answer the more difficult questions truthfully, increasing the chance of a confession.
You alright? Man, you've been through a lot.
No, I don't deserve any remorse. I don't.
You know what, John?
I don't.
You're gonna live through this. You ashamed of yourself?
Oh, yeah. That's obvious, but
Thinking about what your wife's gonna say when you get home? Or when she finds out? It's gonna be a hard conversation, but you know what? You can practice telling me the truth. That way, whenever you talk to her, you've already run it by me.
appreciate you taking time.
Throughout the interrogation, Reed subtly uses Elliot's fear of what his wife might say when she finds out the truth. She taps into his fear of the consequences of his actions, hinting that confessing now might help mitigate those consequences. This tactic plays on Elliot's guilt and fear, two emotions that can prompt people to act impulsively. By suggesting that confessing may spare him from facing even harsher consequences, like his wife's wrath, Reed encourages him to take the first step toward admitting what he has done. His emotional vulnerability makes him more likely to cooperate with the interrogation process.
We can look at this together. It's a consent to search. It's for your vehicle. Says, I hereby consent to a complete search of the premises, property, or vehicle located at Bowling Green Police Department and more particularly described as Chevrolet Cobalt 2005 blue. You know what? We can wait on this paperwork. Will you give me consent to search your vehicle?
Of course, I don't have nothing out there anybody.
Okay. Well, here's the signature line. You can go ahead and sign it.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
I just feel I don't.
Feel what?
I don't like it when anybody sees me like this.
Well, you know, I've seen people in worse situations.
Keep thinking I'd rather be in here for drugs.
While not overtly using a bad cop, Reed subtly increases the pressure by asking Elliot to sign documents and consent to a vehicle search. She gives him the impression that time is running out and he needs to cooperate or face worse consequences. The psychological pressure mounts as Elliot realizes the seriousness of his situation. Reed's calm but firm approach creates a dynamic in which Elliot begins to recognize the escalating stakes of his resistance, eventually prompting him to consider confession as the path of least resistance.
So, what brought you here tonight, John?
I don't know how to explain it. I wish I'd...
Well, you know what? Instead of thinking so hard about it, just tell me.
Fantasy. There. Just fantasy.
What kind of fantasies?
I don't know, to be with a young girl. I'm not saying it's right or anything like that. I don't mean to make it sound that way.
What about a young girl makes that fantasy for you? I mean, help me understand. And if it helps you feel better, I'll role play for you and I'll be your wife and say, what in the world were you thinking with a 13-year-old? Here I am at home. Where'd you tell her you went?
Told her I had to go for a drive.
You went for a drive and I get a call from you from the jail. Because you've been out chasing some 13-year-old? What in the world is wrong with you? I thought you loved me. I thought you appreciated me more than that. Which I'm sure she'll throw a few explicative words in there for you.
Yeah.
Won't she?
Well, probably. More than likely.
Reed encourages Elliot to explain his actions and reflect on the underlying reasons for his behavior. She provides a role-playing scenario in which Elliot can express his guilt by imagining how he would explain his actions to his wife. By pushing Elliot to internalize guilt and reflect on the emotional damage his actions could cause, Reed effectively makes him feel responsible for his behavior. The more Elliot reflects on his crime, the harder it becomes for him to deny his role in it, increasing the likelihood that he will eventually confess.
Are you going to answer? Because you're not doing very well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm giving up.
Giving up what?
I'm trying.
Come on, John. Now I need you to talk to me. I need you to open up.
This is going to sound stupid. I don't want...
You know
this is
what?
going to be on record. It's going to sound...
You know what? I'm not here to judge you. I don't think you're stupid. I think you made a mistake. You had a fantasy. You had an opportunity to fulfill it. And you took a chance. And you're here now. Now's the time to deal with it. Get it off your chest.
The detective begins by identifying John Elliott's feelings of vulnerability and uses this to her advantage. By presenting herself as non-judgmental, she makes Elliot feel like he's not being criticized. She uses empathetic confrontation, gently pushing him to get things off his chest. This sets the stage for him to start revealing information, creating a sense of psychological comfort that can help break down his defenses.
John, you're losing me. I don't understand what this has to do with a 13-year-old girl.
Just, it adds up. It does. How to say it, I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, I'm hearing you, but I still need to know how you got here tonight. You told me a fantasy.
I drove here.
Yeah.
Drove myself.
So, you started chatting. What was the screen name you used?
Bald Beaver Hunter. But I wasn't looking for a young girl when I made that name, no.
No?
No, I promise not that time. I mean, I've had that fantasy, but I wasn't looking for a young girl at that time.
Elliot's story begins to unravel as the detective gently probes for specifics about his online chats. By indirectly confronting him about his actions, like using the screen name Bob Beaver Hunter and chatting with a decoy posing as a 13-year-old, she catches him in a lie. The detective's calm questioning forces Elliot to admit details he was hoping to avoid, making him feel cornered yet safe enough to confess, which is a classic technique of gradual disclosure.
So,
When she showed up in the room, because one it's 18 on her profile, but I can't remember right now really offhand.
Now, John,
What?
you trying to tell me now you thought she was 18?
No, I'm just saying on the profile. No, I can tell by the picture. No, I don't mean it that way.
And she told you she was 13?
Yeah.
As Elliot starts to admit that he could tell the decoy wasn't 18, the detective continues to press for more details, systematically dissecting his defense. The typical response from predators in these situations is to deny knowing the decoy's age, but Elliot goes against this, which raises suspicions. The detective is playing on his psychological discomfort by keeping him talking, exposing more contradictions with each admission.
What was the person's name that you were chatting with? The screen name?
Give me a minute.
You chat with a lot of people?
Very... something.
Well, let me help you out.
I'm sorry, it's kind of hard for me to think right now.
Dreaming of Fairies.
Dreaming of Fairies, that's it.
Would that be you? And her?
Yeah.
Bob Beaver Hunter 42025.
Yeah.
And then Dreaming of Fairies.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, cool, 39 male here, bored, laugh out loud.
Throughout the interrogation, Reed leaks specific details about the case that only the police would know. She mentions his online activities, the chat logs, and other evidence, reinforcing that the authorities have all the information they need. This tactic is crucial because it diminishes Elliot's ability to deny the facts. By confirming that the police have detailed knowledge of his actions, Reed creates an atmosphere where Elliot must acknowledge that his position is untenable. This psychological pressure works to erode his defenses and make confession seem like the only viable option.
So even if her profile...
No, I mean, I'm just saying that on the age thing, I think the only way they can put a thing on young, I think you gotta say 18, I think.
Oh.
That's what...
Oh, you're saying that the chat room you were in wouldn't allow for them to be in there if they were under 18.
That's what, yeah. Because I think it's the way it's standard on Yahoo now, I think.
Okay. So it was Yahoo that you chatted on? Went in the chat room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell me about this fantasy. Were you playing it out in your chats?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What'd you tell her you wanted to do?
Kiss her. And oral sex.
As the interrogation continues, Elliot becomes more comfortable confessing bits and pieces of his intentions and actions. The detective continues to make him feel like he's just confessing to a friendly ear, using empathetic language like, "I'm not here to hurt you." This approach is part of the psychological strategy to lower his defenses and encourage him to share even more incriminating details. The idea is to make Elliot feel like he's in control of the situation, even as the detectives gain the upper hand.
I understand you're embarrassed,
Well,
but it's not anything
my
that
life.
you can't deal with.
Life is over. No, really, seriously, it's gone now.
Well, from what you just told me, it wasn't pleasant to begin with. You know, all you can do is take the cards you're dealt and make the best of it. Or else change it. And you'll deal with that. I'm certain of it. You'll deal with that. You'll get through it. People have lived through much worse.
When Elliot becomes defensive, the detective uses strategic silence, allowing the awkward pauses to weigh on him. Silence in interrogation often leads to suspects feeling the need to fill the void with more information. Empathy is also used as the detective reassures him that people have lived through much worse, subtly signaling that his confession won't ruin him just yet. This tactic works to further lower his guard and invites more detailed responses.
So what was it about it? The fantasy. Tell me about the fantasy. What was it?
Just being able to have oral sex with a girl.
Oral sex? You performing it or both ways?
No, me performing. That was my fantasy.
So that was your intention
Yes.
when you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot finally admits to his intentions behind the meeting with the decoy, including performing oral sex. The detective uses guilt-driven disclosure, where she keeps him talking, exploiting his desire to explain away his actions. She subtly guides him toward revealing his true motives by presenting him with the opportunity to justify his fantasies. This creates a sense of obligation for Elliot to talk more, knowing the detectives are aware of his intentions.
I wish you was a counselor. Because I know you don't want to hear all this junk.
Well, you know, I'd like to hear about these chats. Because with you having this fantasy, I can't help but believe that this isn't the first person you've been in contact with.
No, I'm serious. It is. No, I'm being serious. I'm serious.
So where'd you find the child porn?
Off of people, off the rooms. In adult rooms.
Elliot's narrative becomes more disjointed as he continues to downplay the gravity of the situation. The detective shifts her approach by shifting the focus to his personal life, asking about his family and computer usage. This is a strategic pivot designed to make him feel the walls closing in, particularly regarding the child pornography found on his computer. This psychological pressure tactic is used to force him to admit further details that are critical to the case.
Okay.
I
Well,
just
I
got-
don't want to rush
I make a lot of things,
bouncing around in your head.
you know. I just feel like hung out to dry, I guess.
So you knew it was wrong when you came here. You knew it was not a good choice
Yes,
to
ma'am.
attempt to have sex with a 12-year-old.
Yes.
Did you consider that before you left the house? But you came anyway. Because this fantasy just took over and... Because I noticed you were a little nervous. I guess just being there, thinking, wow,
Okay,
I'm
babe.
going to get to live out this fantasy that I had.
At this point, the detective directly confronts Elliot with the severity of his actions, coming to meet a 13-year-old for sex and the child pornography on his computer. She doesn't give him room to deny the facts. This is a powerful psychological move where the detective overpowers his denial by presenting the hard facts and making him see that there is no escape. The goal is to ensure that Elliot feels the full weight of his actions and becomes more likely to admit everything.
Now, you said that you were getting child porn off the chat rooms.
Mhm.
Can you tell me some of the people that you were getting it from?
I can't remember because it's been so long. Some of those have been like from a year or so ago.
So you just stored them on your computer?
Yeah, just saved them when they sent them to me
Okay. Where'd you save them?
on my computer.
Yeah, but I mean, did you just keep them in an email, or did you make a special folder for them?
Oh yeah, I made my own folder for it.
Yeah. Okay. So, were you the only one with access to the computer?
Mhm.
And it was upstairs?
Mhm.
Okay. So is it password protected or something? I mean, I'd hate to think your wife would get on there
Yeah, it
and
is. Yeah.
fighting that child pornography.
The detective continues to gain Elliot's trust by asking about his computer setup and storage devices. By maintaining a calm, non-accusatory tone, she makes him feel like he's being cooperative, even though she's already gathering critical information. This is a psychological strategy that works by lowering the suspect's defenses, making them feel more comfortable disclosing sensitive information, such as his computer setup and any data stored on it.
Well, here's the deal. I'd like to look at your computer. First of all, because of the child pornography.
Mhm.
Second of all, because of why you're here tonight, coming to see a 13-year-old to have sex, and you travel to do it. This is pretty serious, John. I'm not going to kid you. No, I don't know what the situation's going to be for you, but you'll be lodged in jail tonight. And they'll give you an opportunity to make a phone call. But I'd like to get your consent to go to your home and get your computer and any other computer-related equipment that you may have.
The detective asks Elliot to sign a consent form allowing the search of his home and electronic devices. This tactic puts psychological pressure on Elliot, subtly making him feel like he has no control over the situation. By getting him to agree, the detective ensures that there's no way for Elliot to later deny the evidence found in his devices. It's a clever trap that forces him to give up his rights voluntarily.
If you agree to that, you can go ahead and sign in the same place and then print your name and your address right underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and fill your citation out here. It doesn't mean that you can't keep talking because I'm listening, okay? So you want to tell me about some of the other people you chat with? Bet there's some real winners out there.
Yeah, I know what there is. A lot of bots on there.
Huh?
A lot of bots.
Bots. What's that?
That's where they advertise, throw advertisements at you.
Mm-hmm.
Porn stuff, all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what other kind of fantasies you have? Nothing wrong with fantasies. People have dreams and things that they'd like to do in life.
Oh, winning money.
Winning money?
Winning money.
I think we all have
Yeah.
that one, don't we?
As Elliot continues to talk about his online activities and fantasies, the detective challenges the inconsistencies in his story. Psychologically, this puts Elliot in a corner as he realizes his lies are being exposed. The detective maintains calm and control, making him feel trapped in his own narrative. The questioning is direct, and the pressure increases as Elliot starts to feel the full weight of his actions, eventually leading him to confess more openly.
Did y'all already call the house?
Pardon?
Did y'all already call the house? That you know of? I mean, you don't know.
No, I'm not going to call your house.
Okay.
I don't have any reason to call your house.
Okay.
Do I?
What do you mean?
Well, why would I call your house?
I mean, call my wife.
I'm going to let you call her.
Okay.
You're going to explain that, not me.
Okay. I wasn't being smart. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't think you were being smart. I was just letting you know, though, she's going to be mad, and she's going to take it out on you, not on me. You better get yourself prepared for that.
The detective shifts the conversation to how Elliot will handle the aftermath of his actions, especially with his family. Psychological manipulation is used here by emphasizing how his wife would react, making him feel the consequences on a personal level. This emotional manipulation increases Elliot's discomfort, pushing him to reflect on the broader impact of his actions and possibly leading to further admissions.
I'm really trying to be difficult.
Buddy, you'll be alright.
I'm trying to be cooperative with everything.
I know you are. I think you've done real well.
I know everybody wants to go home, go to bed.
Well, you know, sometimes you got a job to do and you just gotta do it.
I miss my brother.
Huh? You weren't talking to me, I take it.
As the interrogation nears its end, the detective continues to use emotional pressure by mentioning the difficulty of the job. This serves to remind Elliot of the gravity of the situation, while also creating a sense of empathy from the detective. By presenting herself as someone who understands the tough nature of the job, she maintains control, ensuring that Elliot feels both psychologically guilty and emotionally manipulated into making the final steps toward a full confession.
That's my brother.
You miss your brother. Does he help you a lot?
Oh,
He died.
cancer. Can I tell you something?
Sure, I told you, I'm always listening. I'm all ears.
It should be me 6 feet under, not him. I mean that.
Buddy, you be alright.
No, I mean, he was so much of a better person.
You know what? You're a good person.
No, I'm not.
Why not?
I just,
What's eating you up? Something just really got you.
just wish I could trade places. I know you're not a counselor, but that's what I want to say, you know?
Well,
I
you know,
wanna say-
sometimes you gotta say it out loud. Let's see.
I just hate my life. I really do.
Do you go to a counselor?
No.
You gonna start?
Oh, yeah.
As Elliot talks about his family, particularly the death of his brother, the detective uses empathy to create a connection. This moment of vulnerability is a psychological pressure point as Elliot begins to feel the weight of his actions in front of a sympathetic ear. The detective's response shows understanding, which further manipulates Elliot's emotional state.
Okay, I gotta go find your license and get some information from your car.
Okay.
And I'll be right back. You hungry?
No,
There's
ma'am.
some chips there and a
I
candy bar.
thank you, but you can understand why I'm not.
Well,
I mean,
you know, some
you know how it
people-
is.
Some people handle stress differently.
Yeah, I'm one of those that don't handle it.
No? Let's see.
As the interrogation wraps up, the detective outlines the legal consequences that await Elliot, presenting the case in clear, no-nonsense terms. By highlighting the legal process and Elliot's forthcoming charges, she uses logical confrontation to close in on him. The pressure to confess has been building throughout, and now that he knows the extent of the charges, the detective uses this final psychological pressure to ensure his guilt is established beyond doubt.
Oh, that's great. Well, that sounds fun, huh? Sometimes I like long car rides and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's nice.
Well, this is
you know.
definitely a long car ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you listening to music? What are you doing?
I'm just sitting here thinking.
No, go listen to some music or something.
I just don't have anything going. I was just waiting for your call. I was like, gosh, it should have taken a long time for your call.
I'm sorry. I was hoping you were listening to music or something. I was like, man, he's gonna, wonder where I am. Oh, hold on one second.
Okay.
John Elliot was convicted of first-degree attempted unlawful transaction with a minor and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Additionally, he was required to register as a sex offender for 20 years.